Welcome to the Abnormally Funny People Show with your hosts, Simon Minty and Steve Best. This podcast is sponsored by Barclays. For more information, please see our website, abnormallyfunnypeople.com. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Abnormally Funny People Show number 13. I'm Simon Minty.
Hello, and I'm Steve Best. We're officially 1 year old.
Yep, we've made it. Sorry for the listeners, there was a little pause between the last show and this one.
Barclays, our sponsor, had to sort out some admin, but we're back until the autumn, which is great.
So, it is the month of August, and for us comedy types, that means just one thing.
Sunshine.
Yes, and the Edinburgh Festival Fringe.
You paused there. Do you have to pause on that?
Yeah, you always have to have that pause. Abnormally Funny People will be up there, as will thousands of other shows. And today we have two people who will be performing in their own show.
And with us, Abnormally Funny People.
Indeed. Firstly, there's Caro Sparks. She is a performer with many skills. Caro's act is unique as she is deaf bilingual, so it's speech and sign language. She performs well-known recorded songs such as Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights with dance, mime and sign language. And you just won an acting award in France, didn't you, Caro?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
That was for Best Actress in a film that I made.
Congratulations.
Fantastic. And we have Jo Coffey as well. Jo is a regular performer in comedy clubs up and down Britain. She was a new Act of the Year finalist last year. Yeah. She's also involved in television, presenting on Big Brother's Bit on the Side. Her comedy CV says she's tiny, like really short.
Like really short. Like really short.
As well as our two funny guests in this month's show, we will talk about Abnormally Funny People's 10th anniversary show up at Edinburgh Fringe.
Mm-hmm. And we'll catch up with Shannon Murray in LA.
Let's get cracking.
Find us on Twitter or Facebook by searching for Abnormally Funny People or using the hashtag AFP Show.
So let's kick off with Moment of the Month. Jo, your Moment of the Month.
I've got a couple, but I can't work out whether this is a disability thing or just a child being a little bit weird.
Okay. So
it could go either way. So basically, you know how usually when you're in supermarkets or wherever and children come over to you and approach you and, you know, agog and they say things like, oh, she's really short or mummy, and they're parents guide them away and sort of shove them into another aisle so they won't attract any attention. I don't mind that, actually, because they're kids, so what can you do? But I was in Asda in Southgate buying my nephew some Manchester City pyjamas when this child came up to me with complete intent, sort of came walking by. It's very rare that they come straight up to you, look you in the eye and said, "Are you a small wolf?"
Small wolf?
Yeah. To which I said, yes.
You have to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to see what would happen. And she looked absolutely satisfied with the answer and just walked off. Like she knew that all along. Like, of course I was a small wolf. Why wouldn't I be a small wolf? In Asda, of all places, of course.
I'm a fellow small person. I've not had a wolf. Where does that come from?
I looked it up on Urban Dictionary when I got it.
Oh, what if it means something else? It means something else. Yeah. I thought she was going to say in Asda, she's going every little helps or something like that.
Yeah.
That would have been
a little bit too intelligent. Even I couldn't have come up with that one. Which doesn't say much. So I had no idea. I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. It doesn't mean anything. I generally am aghast to what that could be about, really.
And you haven't got that much facial hair.
No,
either.
I'd shaved that day.
Yeah.
I was fine. So I don't,
The film Wolf of Wall Street had a short person. They did humiliating things like throwing them and so on. But I can't believe a young child has watched Wolf of Wall Street.
No, well,
especially that opening sequence.
Yeah,
that's a bit
sexual. Maybe that's what. But she looked quite pleased that I'd said that I was one.
Yeah.
So, made her day, which was
maybe she
good.
had a list and she was able to tick off on
Yes.
that list that she'd met.
This is it. Yes, a small wolf.
Yes.
Tick, unicorn.
Yes.
Tick. Yeah, brilliant.
And you said you had a second one as well.
Well, I'm trying, and this is another thing as well that I can't work out whether it's a disabled thing or, again, people have been nice, which is probably a disabled thing. But I think I'm starting to be part of that whole internet sensation, which is a pay it forward thing. Like, I don't know if you've heard any of
Yeah.
this. So you do a good deed
Yeah.
and you for somebody else to pay karma forward,
So you
basically.
might sort of pay for an
So-
extra coffee and the next person
Yeah.
gets it for free.
Exactly. So it's all about karma on the internet and karma, kind of universal karma. So I was in a really terrible sandwich shop the other day, and I may have looked slightly pathetic because they don't take card or anything. So I was fishing loads of 20p's of shrapnel out of this tiny little child's purse that I have. So I did look at a picture of Charles Dickens when I was doing it. I just sort of had my sandwich and put it on the side, and I was just trying to get the money out, and this guy came, swooped in out of nowhere. I'll get that for you. And I went, oh, no, don't worry about it. No, it's fine. No, let me get it for you. I'll get it for you. I went, no, really, you don't have to do that. It's fine. I get it. And he was like, please, I have to do this. Just let me get it for you. And I went, okay. And then just put a bag of crisps in with it. 'Cause, make the most out of it. And I thought, kind of put it on the internet to gauge myself. I was like, is this part of, and people came back going, I think you were part of a pay it forward thing. And then when I was in Tesco, another high quality supermarket the other day, I happened to walk past this sort of long T-shirt thing, and I picked it up and thought, that'd be nice for my holidays, my jolly holidays. Picked it up, and as a guy came swooping to the side and went, oh, that would look really nice on you. Would you like me to buy it for you? And I went, no, you're all right, actually. I'm fine. He went, really? I can buy that for you if you'd like to. And I went, no, you're fine, but thanks very much for the offer. So what is
happening?
that? Yeah, is that just creepy, or is it a pay it forward thing? I don't know.
I think you just poured.
Yeah.
Lucky
Both
me.
occasions, yeah.
But that is because whatever, they're being a nice person, but it's also slightly
Creepy.
I don't know. Yeah, you're kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
if
should
it's-
I have said yes?
Is it creepy? I don't know if it's too creepy.
Oh, it was a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't saying it in a creepy manner. He was like, oh, I'll get that for you now. It was more like
And then I'll buy you dinner later. Is that what he
No,
said?
I don't know
So he
if it-
stopped at the right.
it was more a caring relative type.
Yes.
Like, oh, well, that would look really nice on you. I thought, oh,
Are you
creepy.
being patronised or are you
Yeah.
not? That's the problem. Is you can't because
should
it is a
I?
nice thing, but is it?
Well, should I just give him my ASOS shopping basket and he can just get it
Yeah.
online, I'm going to settle with a Tesco's dress.
Living the dream.
Exactly.
Thank you, Joe. Caro, moment of the month for you.
Well, I have a couple as well. There was one moment, I say a moment, it was something I saw on the internet, and it was about the Glastonbury Festival, and Kanye West was performing, and it was being transmitted live on the BBC. It was about the subtitlers, and I always feel sorry for the subtitlers at any time doing any comedy typing and things like that.
When it's kind of live, do you mean?
But
or-
this is live
Yeah.
rap.
Oh,
And
wow.
Kanye West, apparently, I don't know, I've never really followed him, but apparently he sings very fast, and he says a lot of rude words. And you know what the BBC are like about language, and they did say before transmission that there would be swearing and things like that. They didn't bother with the bleeping because it would have been bleep, 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 and so they didn't bother. But it's quite interesting, in the subtitling, they wouldn't allow swearing on the subtitling. So am I allowed to swear on this programme?
Yeah, we'll bleep
So
you
the
out.
word mother was replaced by mother ducker. And was replaced by ligger. So the ligger. Ligger.
Which is,
Okay.
is in the word, though,
Well,
isn't it?
whatever.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to hear it, but you're not allowed to read it. So I felt really sorry for the typists because, you have a pattern with your fingers when you're typing particular words, and these are not real proper words, are they? Anyway, the typist, poor typist, was typing away, and in the end, he couldn't cope with the speed of it. So he just put in brackets, he raps. Bless him. And apparently he kept trying to do Mother Ducker and Ligger and Mother Ducker and Ligger. And then apparently I think he gave up because up on the screen came up, how much more of this, Bev? How much longer is this going to go on? I'd love to know who this Bev
Broken.
is. She has the power to make him type. So that was one moment in the deaf world. But I think the hearing people were also tuning in. And they were saying on Twitter, you've got to put the subtitles on. It's hilarious. It's really funny. So he got a lot of attention on that, but the wrong type of attention, possibly, because I don't know if he wants to be
He's
known
getting
as
the long
he raps.
attention all over the place at the moment, isn't he?
Who, Kanye West?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a tough subtitling gig, that one,
Oh,
isn't it? Yeah.
gosh, absolutely. I mean, it's hard enough in the courts, and they have these professional stenographers, I think they're called, where they're just bashing away. And that's at normal speech speed.
Yeah.
But rapping is a total different. I just feel for the people who are typing any kind of music program and these rap.
And what was your second moment,
The
Karen?
second one is actually, it's about when I was in France picking up the award
Very good.
for the best actress. And in this film, I play a fat actress who has to lose weight for whatever reason. The film is called If I Don't Lose, I'll Lose. And I am a large person in it. And it's really funny in sign language. There's no subtleties at all. So I had all these people from all over the world coming up to me and signing, "Oh, you're the fat lady, you're the fat lady." And I must say, I loved it. I like it when
I'd
my
be
curves
furious.
are appreciated. No, I love it when my curves are appreciated. They're hard work, my curves. They're very demanding. I have to eat cake and pies all the time just to maintain my curves.
That's why you're an award winner.
Yeah,
You're
yes,
dedicated.
yes. I think I was the largest person on that stage, and it was quite nice to be of a minority because everyone else was deaf.
So when you're saying sign language has no subtlety, so there's not a kind of, oh, you look like an ample woman, or you look slightly like... It is fat. They're
Yeah,
just that's
it's
what
just,
you do.
You look, and they actually say, you. You know,
Which
it's
is
quite
quite nice because it's direct and
It's
straightforward.
very direct.
and
absolutely.
no faffing around.
No,
just straight in.
that's it. They knew how I was by my curves.
Brilliant.
Oh.
That's great.
That's fab. That's
Thanks,
fab.
Caro. And so Simon, what about your moment of the month?
I've got two as well.
Goodness, I've only got
nobody's
one.
sticking to rules anymore. One relates a little bit to Joe's. I have quite a fancy pants car, and I wanted to get a... Oh, Caro's nodding because I gave you a lift in it the other day. And I had to get this USB charger thing, and it means you can play the music through, and it's for a BMW. And this USB cable is like £40. And you know it's not really £40 worth of technology. Anyway, and I spoke to the guy in the shop, and he said it's 40 quid. And I said, well, I bought 3 or 4 off eBay, and none of them work. And he said, yeah, they're a bit fiddly. Do you want to give it a quick try and then come back and tell me? And at the moment, my hips are giving me so much grief. And I looked at him and went, you know what? The pain I'm in at the moment, just even walking back to my car is really quite an effort. I don't know whether I just chance it or do you want to come out? And I was getting a bit faffy. Anyway, cut a long story short, I did go out, and he came out and he helped me, and it was really lovely. I went back in, he said, we're giving you 10% off as well. And I went, thanks very much.
Oh.
And I was thrilled because it's 10% off a very expensive cable. But again, I knew I was...
yeah.
If I hadn't said I've got real pain in my legs, would I have got 10% off? Should I now tell everybody when I buy something I've got I've got painful legs, and I get... It was a nice
Particularly
thing.
houses.
If you're a Joe, you get it for free.
Well, actually, yeah.
Stop at 10%.
If I was a small wolf, I would have been giving them to me. But I don't know. It was a lovely thing to do. But there's that other bit in your brain that goes, oh, am I being a bit patronised or something? The other bit I had, you probably all saw this. There was that viral clip where someone in Brazil had parked their car in a disabled parking bay. And then this... Have you not seen this,
No,
Joe?
no,
Okay.
no.
Right.
Caro's
It's
seen it.
hilarious.
So there's about 6 people who descend on it, and they've got lots of blue post-it notes that they put over the car. There's probably 3,000 post-it notes all over the car with a big sort of disability symbol, wheelchair symbol. And then there's loads of people start arriving, and they're filming it and showing it and so on. And then the chap who did it, who clearly was illegal, he shouldn't have parked there, he's so angry. There's a policeman standing there, and this guy's trying to rip off all these post-it notes.
But it's really hard to get off the post-it notes.
Brilliant.
It's really hard.
We'll have to put a link up if you haven't seen it, because it was a brilliant stunt and it was great. But there was something, and I don't know, because when he got back, there was so many people surrounding it. There's loads of people filming it. And there was a lot of jeering. And part of me says, yes, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have parked there. But I was talking about this with another friend, and she kind of suggested, was that too far? Was the sort of punishment, the joke, did it go too far that this guy was completely and utterly humiliated as well?
Of course not. Idiot shouldn't have parked there.
the thing that alarmed me was he drove off with all these post-its on the window, so he couldn't have seen
He was trying to
properly
push off
out.
the windscreen and he couldn't do
Yes.
it, and he was looking out of his
Quite
door, more or
scary.
less.
I'm surprised that the policeman
But-
didn't stop him from leaving.
Or he could end up being disabled because he wouldn't have been able to see and crash his car, and then he'd get a real badge.
I don't think he went. The stunt went too. I think if he had been a bit kind of, what's the word?
Conciliatory,
Yeah,
embarrassed.
yeah, and taken it and said, "Oh, well, I'm really sorry," and kind of more or less laughed about it. So I won't do it again. Then you think, okay, but because he was so angry about it, you don't feel sorry for the guy really at all.
Oh no.
I don't know.
You meant to.
I know. I thought it was a great stunt, and it was a brilliant stunt. I mean, they did it so well, but there was just that bit of me. I wondered, oh, okay, but maybe it was. You know what it was? It was like having 200 people standing around filming you as you get really worked up. But the flip side of it is, if I was a disabled person and that's my space gone, I'd be standing there getting really furious.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
comeuppance.
There comes to a point, doesn't there, when you think, I've got to do something about it, and these people did. You know, and they must have worked really fast. Because,
Yes.
like you say, there were thousands
Yes.
of these post-its on the car.
Mr. Best,
Yeah,
moment of the month.
Well, that was mine as well. No, I did like that. I was thinking about that one. I suppose this is one. I keep watching stuff on my tablet. Late at night, I watch episodes of things, and I was running out of things to do. And someone said, "Why haven't you tried Daredevil? Have you seen Daredevil?"
I know the film. Ben
Well,
Affleck.
yeah. Oh yes. But this is the series. There's a series.
TV, yeah.
But I was the disability side of it. It was quite strange because he can't see. He gets an acid or radioactive kind of acid attack when he's a kid, so he loses his sight, and yet then he becomes a really good fighter. So he wears a mask. I've only watched a few episodes, and I'm going to carry on with it. But I just it kind of the idea that he'd lost his sight, but his hearing had become really good, and I thought that was all a myth and the fact that you're here, and I asked someone, I said, well, actually, it was because of the radioactive substance that went into it.
You're not selling this.
No, exactly. So that it kind of slightly put me off the series. I think it's really well done. It's quite violent.
Is about fighting? He's just.
He's a superhero.
It's a Marvel.
okay.
Marvel.
It's a Marvel, so it's like
right,
Spider-Man,
okay.
Superman. But
It's not like Fight Club or.
no, but the fact is, it's not. With Spider-Man, he gets bitten by a radioactive spider,
yes.
and this all they've got on this is he got blinded by this acid,
Right.
but then he's got this super hearing, so he can fight because he can hear all around him. But it just seems to be too extreme, and I don't know if I'm losing the will or I'm not too sure.
No, I think you're joining the Disability Critical Club, and that's quite impressive. The film, the Ben Affleck film, came out maybe 5-10 years ago and got really slated for being way over the top, and it was just a really pants film. I've spoken to a couple of blind people about Daredevil TV show, and they're saying this is better. It seems to be a bit more, well, saying that, acid attack and you get super hearing is a bit silly, but it's kind of it sounded like they'd got it a little bit better. But you're still saying maybe
Well,
not.
I knew because I asked someone who's not disabled, and he said, "Oh no, if you lose your sight, you definitely get more sense. Your other senses are more." But that's not true, though, is it?
No.
There we go. So
we've been trying to spell that for a long time.
exactly. So I wonder why people still think that, though.
I just have to butt in here. Is the actor who's playing the Daredevil, is he blind?
I don't think he is. That's a
I'd be
good
very
point,
surprised.
actually. I'll be, yeah.
Carry on.
No, that's a
presumably-
good point, actually, because you want more disabled people to take lead roles.
Presumably, Caro, because you are deaf, does that mean your eyesight is fantastic? Is your
Oh,
eyesight-
no, I'm going blind. No, it's not true at all. I think we might be more observant in different ways with sight, but I don't think we have particular better eyesight.
But that's that. And they're saying people who are blind, you use your hearing better. You use it in different ways, but it doesn't suddenly become super.
That's
No,
right.
but that's
magical.
but that's a slight problem with this series is that it doesn't you're not the incident at the beginning when he's a kid. You aren't given enough information of why he has suddenly such good hearing.
Yeah.
Unless they come back to it throughout the series.
Could be a reveal.
Might be, yeah. But there we go. That was mine.
Well done, Steve.
Yeah.
You're getting in there.
Hurrah.
Yeah.
Steve sometimes struggles to find moment of the month.
I
but
always
you're
struggle.
doing it.
Yeah.
Your late night TV.
So there we go. Coming up next, we will speak to Caro and Joe about disability, deafness, comedy, and the Edinburgh Fringe.
Festival.
Pause.
If you'd like to get in touch, you can email us on podcast@abnormallyfunnypeople.com.
Lovely to have you here, Caro. I'm very excited about having you here. I've known you around the sort of deaf disability art scene for quite some time, but I haven't asked you this, and so also for listeners, how did you first get involved in
Well,
this?
I started off just working professionally as an actress, and through my jobs working in theatre, I came across Grey Eye Theatre, and they were set up in the 1980s. Nabil Shaban and a tall guy called Richard. For the life of me, can't remember his last name. But they set up this theatre company, and I got some work with them. And also, around the time in the 80s, there was a cabaret club called the Workhouse, and they only had disabled people performing in this cabaret. And I used to go to these cabarets. So that's how I really got involved in the performing disability arts side of things.
And do you consider yourself? I see you as an actor or actress more so, but you do comedy with us in Abnormally Funny People.
I do stand-up comedy, and I also have a cabaret act in which I
Right.
just sing songs.
Okay, these are a joy. I've seen you do Wuthering Heights and Red Shoes and Bohemian Rhapsody. And it's a kind of a piece of art in itself. It's funny, but it's artistic and it's beautiful, and you're so expressive and so on. And again, where did the idea of this come in? Come about?
I've always enjoyed listening to music, and even as a deaf person, you can still enjoy music.
And this is, do you have some residual hearing or vibration? Or...
Yes, with hearing aids, I can hear high-pitched frequencies, and I can feel the drum beats. But music-wise, I cannot hear a double bass or the lower end of a piano. So if that helps.
So you choose Freddie Mercury singing Bohemian Rhapsody and Kate Bush because they got quite high voices, or is that coincidence?
It's not just to do that. I tend to choose songs that have a story. Or I can find a story in the song. Yeah. So it's not just words, blah, blah, blah.
So you don't translate the words word for word, you kind of translate the story into a...
That's right. Or it's my own take on the story. And for some reason, whatever I do is funny. So Bohemian Rhapsody didn't set out to be funny. It just happened. So.
But that's, and this is going to come out, it's meant to be a compliment, but it's because your face, you can pull great faces or funny faces.
Yes.
And there is that bit in the middle when it goes to the big guitar.
Oh, yes.
And you really play that hell for leather.
I just headbang like mad. It's the only way. I mean, not only do I express the words, but I express the music and the emotions, as well as the story within the song.
And there is that bit, isn't it, where they're talking to each other in Bohemian Rhapsody, and you're kind of flipping.
I do role shift. In sign language, it's called role shift when I take on the persona of the person being.
And the dancing and signing all at the same time. This is just completely natural now. This is your.
Well, I trained in mime. And I use a lot of my mime skills in sign language, in sign songs. So if people are sitting in the audience and they hate mime, they don't realise they're watching mime being used in the sign songs.
We will have to put a clip up because it's a joy. And come watch the Abnormally Funny People show in Edinburgh because it's a joy to watch. It really is.
And also, I mean, in the previews, the first time I've seen it, because I was standing at the back of the stage rather than watching it from the front. And it's actually also great watching it from the side because you see the audience laughing and you're walking away from them as well, and you see it from a different angle, which is great as well.
Yeah.
So you're up in Edinburgh.
Yes,
for the
I'm
festival.
doing AFP. Yes.
Thank you very much. But you're doing your own stuff as well.
Well, yes, I'm. There's a theatre show called Edmund the Learned Pig, and it's with Crazy Cat Fittings Multimedia Arts, commissioned by the Manchester Royal Exchange Theatre. It's part of the British showcase, the British Council showcase.
Okay.
And we're hoping to tour with this worldwide.
So, like true Edinburgh, you're trying to hope that people come along, see it and say,
we're at the Summer Hall at 10 to 12 in the day.
Jess Tom, Tourette's hero, is she part of that British Council thing?
I think so. I'm not really sure who else is in the
Oh,
British
okay.
Council thing. She probably is.
Do you
yeah.
do a whole hour on your own, or is it a few
yes,
of
we've
you?
got an hour, 10-minute show. It's actually being reduced from a 2-hour show with an interval into an hour and 10 without an interval. And of course, the changeovers are really fast in theatre. We've got this huge set and loads of props to set up in 15 minutes. Do a show and then take it all down again.
That's very Edinburgh, isn't it? Where you've got so small time to
Yes.
Ours is a bit more simple than that, isn't it?
Yes.
We've kept it simple.
I'm coming for a rest.
First time in Edinburgh, or have you done a few runs?
I made my professional debut at Edinburgh Fringe back in 1983.
Wow.
So, yes, it's amazing. It's always amazing to go back because the festival, every year I go back. I don't go back every year, but every time I go back, it grows.
Oh,
it's a bigger
massive now,
festival.
isn't it?
It's huge now.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to see shows that I know people in. I think that's the best way. You're nodding, Joe. You agree. It's very difficult to see every show in Edinburgh.
I think I'd like to go and see more. Every time you see sort of the comics that you want to see, I'd really like to see some theatre and different things this time, and kind of maybe take a gamble.
That's the whole thing with
Yeah.
Edinburgh. Well, I think it's changing slightly now because I think there was a time when it was really kind of experimental. You could just go up and try stuff. I think it's become a bit more. Oh, that's why the free fringe that's come on now is good because that's gone back to the old style of what Edinburgh was all about to start with.
Yes, it's so expensive to go and see a show.
But not now so much because of the free fringe.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
So that leads nicely on to Joe. Not saying you're a freebie, but Joe, you've done some stand up with Abnormally Funny People before, a long time ago. The Soho Theatre. That's the first time I saw you.
Yeah.
And we got the impression that now you were dabbling then, and it sounds like you're not dabbling so much. You're actually gone full time into it. Is that what's happening now?
Kind of, yeah. As much you try and get rid of it, and it just keeps coming back.
Yeah. Well, I remember the beginning. You were kind of quite not nervous, shy, about doing it, and we were really not sure. Now,
I gave up for a while in the middle of it, and went away and really thought about my act and stuff, and kind of what I wanted to say. And
we're going to hear what you got to say. We're going to have a little clip of Miss Jo Coffey.
You guys at the back can't even see me. Yeah, nice surprise when you get off. Really short. Yeah, let's stress it really short. And, I want to put your minds at rest with it, because basically, I absolutely hate short people. Can't stand them. One's alright anymore when it goes a little bit Channel 4 documentary. Let's face it. Because, I'm going to back that statement up, because basically the problem is, as a short person, when you see another short person in the supermarket, that short person, and everyone else around you will automatically presume you're going to sleep together. Because that's what happened in The Wizard of Oz.
That was very funny. It was very funny. I really liked it. And I don't know how to say it without being because I think you've massively come on since I saw you. And you were good then. I just think you've just leaps and bounds. I think you've.
It's just gigging loads, isn't it? Just getting out.
Is that
there.
what you are gigging?
Yeah,
loads?
just gigging all the time, and not so much in London gigging like round, which is the sort of the flip side of it, that you're in Kenilworth or your Midlands up, and then Manchester you pop to places like, I'm just going to pop to Nottingham for a gig. It's like, no, who pops to Nottingham? It's not normal.
But you or maybe because we get lots of people write to us and say, I want to be a comedian, and how do I do it? And I don't know, so normally Steve answers. But one of the bits you always say is stage time. Write your stuff and get the stage time.
Yeah.
So when you first did it with us, that was the dabble. You do them very infrequently, but now you're saying, right, I'm taking every gig, I'm practicing, and then you know what works and what doesn't.
I'm emceeing more as well, and like trying to doing longer slots and not being. So I used to really stick to my set and be like, right, this is my 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not gonna. And now I would try and throw in loads of sort of different stuff, and like kind of do like just try and throw in as much material as you can, basically, and see obviously on the not so big gigs, on the big gigs, I wouldn't just
Are you finding, because I've been doing the circuit a long time, and I've noticed in the last 5 years it's really changed. I think the middle ground where everybody made a very nice living is gone. Yeah. And then you've got the top end, and you've got the kind of lot of people are coming into it. So,
yeah, definitely.
So are you scrabbling around for gigs, or you just know there were a lot of gigs on to do, I think.
I think the bigger clubs make you kind of, obviously you have to go and progress. You're constantly looking for progression, and it's a lot harder to get progression from like the bigger clubs. So if you go to the Glee Club, their waiting list is about 6 months to get on. Comedia is good. That Comedia are really good at kind of sourcing. Steve will go and pick out who he wants and put you on kind of on a Sunday, so you get really good experience of being kind of in, you know. But one of my first big clubs was in Edinburgh, and I did Spank, and everyone got naked and there were pyrotechnics. It scared the living daylights out of me. I nearly didn't go back. But a lot of the other big clubs, well, not that I sort of do all the time, but there's some really sort of lovely kind of northern clubs like Just the Tonic and kind of the Glees and stuff that we've been doing, because I'm from the Midlands anyway. So it's quite
and also
easy
someone
for
like the
me to be in
Glee
there.
will have tryout bits where you can try out some material and
well, they have like the audiences in Birmingham are brilliant as well. That people will come out to you know, and there's some really good kind of open mic, but they'll have professional comics on. Nights that run sort of in pubs and like in rock clubs and stuff like that, and packed audiences. People will come.
But that's good. I think that's changing. London's not quite like that. I think.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I think
you can do. I mean, I find no worth in going to a gig where there's loads of comedians there. You might as well just. I mean, unless you want to do a workshop, but you know, it's.
So I have a kind of, and the disability part. I think there's that. I like to think now that if you're a comedian that happens to have a disability or a difference, whatever, it's fine. That's not unusual anymore. We've kind of gone beyond that and so on, and so it's not an issue. But I watched your stuff as well, and like, see, I really laughed out loud the video that you sent us. You do talk about being short and stuff. You're kind of cool with that? Was there ever a time you thought, I'm not going to go there, or you're like, I'll weave it in and out, and it just depends?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I sort of, I think with everything, when I come on stage, you have to say it. I tried to not say it once in Edinburgh a couple of times and died hideously, and I couldn't understand why. And I was like, could I get 20 minutes into it and would say, no, but almost you're allowed to laugh. I'm not, none of this is serious, basically. Or this is all a joke. And people go, oh, God, thank goodness. Like, and start laughing. You could see them physically relax. So I moved that all to the front. And then just like, it was fine then. So even in my Edinburgh show, where I'm not really doing about disability at all, I'm doing the first sort of 5-10 minutes saying that, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, I'm not the shortest circuit and the comedian on the circuit. I'm number 4, so it looks really rubbish on my posters and everything like that. And a lot of this stuff's about characters, which are really stupid characters, but I have to still mention it. Like I think you really do. You can't get away with. You got to kind of say it, or how do we say, make it an issue so it's a non-issue. Yeah. So just even in one line, so that the sort of entrance line that I come on sometimes and say, which I could just go on with that and then move on, really. But I do have to address it, particularly if I've had trouble. Well, this is a funny one actually. I used to address when I'd had trouble getting up on the stage. And then that never went well, ever. I'd never get a laugh for it. And I'd try every joke, like kind of, oh, you know, that was this. And then people would be like, oh, I really don't care. Like, I really... And it suddenly occurred to me that perhaps they couldn't see it. They couldn't see the fact that I've just been winched on stage, or like kind of, it's a big problem to me because I'm worrying about getting on the stage. But people really didn't notice. Well, I hope.
Well, what about when you're on stage? Because, I mean, Tanny Lee Davis would stand on a chair.
Yeah.
But you on that clip, you were just on the stage.
Yeah, that stage was fine because it was slightly raised. It's a hard one. I mean, I wouldn't stand on anything because I wouldn't really be able to get up there. So I'd stand on a stage if it's there. In the Edinburgh show, we're talking to Kate at the moment about putting some sort of, because I think everything's going to be on the flat, so they're just going to see here. And I've got some props with me, which I need them to be able to see that are on chairs. So I'm going to have to try and craft a stage out of it.
The only the 4. Tanny Lee's probably first shortest.
Oh, Tanny Lee's a superstar. They'll build a stage. I've got to build my own.
Are you still doing other bits, as in TV, producing e-bits and?
Yes, I am. I did. I've sort of not doing the kind of, or I haven't for a while done the sort of big X Factors, Britain's Got Talent, all that stuff. I've kind of moved on to. I did a fantastic show this year, which just thoroughly enjoyed, called Ninja Warrior, which was brilliant. It's like this massive obstacle course that people are desperate. So it was lots of athletes. Yeah, it was brilliant.
I did see
it. It was really good. It was so much fun to film. It was ridiculous amount of fun to film.
And have I seen a clip with a man who runs on naked?
Oh, that's in Holland or something. Yeah, we didn't get any of that.
Clip you should put on.
Shame we didn't get any of that. We had a gladiator.
Sorry, Caro, did you? Yeah, there was this is an activity course that they all do, and you have to be really fit.
Yeah.
But there's one guy who runs on and he's naked. and and they chase him for a bit, but he's quite fit, isn't he? So
and
he does most of
the stops and stuff because it's really difficult.
The guy was just about to start. The guy was just about to start, and then this guy just runs on.
But
he's good at it.
Yeah. I've seen it. And then there's the woman in America is like a quite short woman, and she runs the course like at one of the stages, just completely clears it. It's like wow.
Yeah.
So that was really good fun to make. But as far as the kind of the Big Brother and X Factor, I haven't done for a couple of years because I've sort of been concentrating. I did the jungle. What am I talking about? I went to Australia and did I'm a Celebrity. So yeah, disregard all the rest of it.
Is this, last question for me, there's always that point, Lost Voice guy, Lee Ridley, who's just given up his day job to now become a full-time comic.
Yeah.
Are you still have to earn your money and do the gigs in the evening? Do you think there'll be a point where you can start earning enough from stand-up?
I'd really like to.
Okay.
I would really, really like to. It's really difficult. As you said, the circuit is...
It's gone strange, isn't it? I think there's
so
enough gigs
hard.
out there to ply your trade and do the stuff, but to actually make a living out of it, it's a big jump.
Yeah, it is. And then you get to you kind of clear your circuit and you're like, right, okay, I'm doing well at gigs and stuff, and you kind of move up a level and you come back on to another circuit and you're like, oh no, everyone's brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go. I don't want to go to work tonight because everyone's fantastic. You're like, oh, but so it's up in your game, isn't it, all the time as well? But it's kind of, financially, it's such a difficult thing to be able to sustain. But just all driving around the country non-stop as well costs. So hopefully, let's fingers crossed. Although I do love being a TV producer as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. In a moment, we're going to be speaking with Shannon Murray, who's in Los Angeles.
If you'd like to get in touch, you can email us on podcast@abnormallyfunnypeople.com.
Hello, Shannon. How are you? How is life in Los Angeles? Did I say that right? Los Angeles.
Well, you can say it any way you like. Los Angeles is lovely. It's very sunny. It's about 92 degrees. But things took a little bit of a bad turn since I spoke to you last. I had some very good news. I landed a great part in a drama, and then 2 days before I was due to start shooting, I fell out of my chair and I broke my leg pretty badly, which has kind of put paid to anything for the past 6 weeks.
So you got the what happened to the job? They held on for you, or you couldn't get the job?
No, they had to go to the next person, so I didn't get the job. I lost it.
Oh no.
Which was rather gutting.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep philosophical and say that things happen for a reason. And there are worse places to recuperate than sunny LA.
What was the what happened? Did you had too much wine or something? What happened?
No, there was no alcohol involved whatsoever. I was simply bending down to pick something up out of my chair, and I lost my balance and I tippled forward, and my right leg went in the other direction.
Ow.
There is nothing quite like feeling your own broken bone in your leg. I gotta say it, guys. You don't want to ever feel that sensation.
That's gory. That is so gory.
Now,
I know, I'm sorry.
and how are the reactions from other people being a wheelchair user with a broken leg?
I mean, this has been quite hilarious. I'm having to keep my leg extended and elevated, so I have it on a friend of mine built me a plank that's attached to my chair. My leg is in a leg immobiliser to keep it totally straight, and I'm very lucky in that my apartment is very open plan, so I can actually get round in my chair. Problem is, I can't really get in and out of any cars because I can't bend my leg. But when I have gone to local shops or restaurants or made it out to the beach, it's actually been quite amazing how much I can get around. Because access out here is so good that I'm not having to worry about steps. I can still get into accessible bathrooms, even with my leg, which is like 36 inches long, out in front of me. And I can still fit in places which would be impossible in London.
So,
but lots of people keep stopping me and saying, oh, what's wrong? Get better soon. And when are you going to be up and walking again? And it slightly blows their mind when I say, I'm not going to be up and walking again. I'm actually paralysed. And then they go a little bit white. And I have to say, no, that's fine. That's an old injury. That's fine. I've dealt with that. That's all processed. That was 25 years ago. But people look very, very confused. A lot of friends, people shouting out of cars saying, get well soon. It's very friendly.
no, I just think it's a very funny reaction. That happens. That they think you're in a wheelchair because of your leg, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because when I go around as a paraplegic, nobody shouts out, get well soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But with my leg on a plank, I'm really popular.
You're also quite stylish and you're into looking good. I mean, this must be a nightmare, isn't it? With a wooden plank sticking out with your leg on it.
Well, it would have been, except luckily because it is so hot here. I mean, the only thing I can get over the leg immobiliser is shorts. And it is so boiling. I'm just wearing shorts and vests the whole time. So luckily, you know, it's a good place to get better.
So the bit I was going to ask. So you were coming back, which would have been lovely. You had work, so we could have all seen you and everything. But how is the acting work hunt going in LA? Or are you having to pause it for the time being?
At the minute, I'm having to pause it because everything is such a quick turnaround that when you get called in to be seen, it's always the next day. So obviously, I did go to an audition out here about 2 weeks ago with my leg on a plank. And I explained, I was like, this is temporary. I don't always go around like a pirate with my leg on a plank. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But it's a novelty.
There's no roles for someone with a leg on a plank then? You haven't got a good agent?
No, I'm pushing for it. I do think the diversity needs to be increased. I mean, wheelchair users, that's fine. But, come on, leg on a plank. There's so much more to offer. But I am looking forward to just being a straightforward paraplegic again.
So it's the Americans with Disabilities Act, the legislature. It's 25th anniversary this year in America. Are things happening over there for the Shannon?
There are a lot more events happening because it was actually signed on July 26, 1990. So July seems to be a very busy month with lots of events. Last week in New York, they had the first Disability Pride Parade, which wasn't dissimilar to kind of, the big parades that we see for gay pride. And the whole community was coming together, different disabilities that are normally fairly segregated by their diagnosis, all came together. And it looked pretty impressive, I've got to say. There was about, I think, 4,000 people doing the parade down Broadway. And New York's mayor has said that will now be an annual event. So that's a positive thing to come out of it.
That wasn't Disability Gay Pride, was it? Just Disability Pride, was it?
Are you serious?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, a very niche kind of a... Yeah.
They can have their own spin-off next year for sure. Yeah. But this year there was no segregation. It was Disability Pride for gay, straight, whatever. Happy for everyone to be there.
I got you.
I saw some pictures from that and was very pleased to see short people from Little People of America strolling. You're right. It was just a real ragtag of loads of people with different impairments, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the usual thing where you have, everybody kind of tends to stick a little bit to their clique. And this was very much everyone coming together, which I think is a good thing because we've all got different stories and experiences there and learn from.
That pride bit, I would do that. I just think I'd feel really empowered. Would you do this? I
was just thinking, do we have a disability pride march over here in the UK?
They do the thing, used to be in Trafalgar Square in September. There's a sort of mayor's...
Liberty, the Liberty Festival.
And that,
yes. That's happening on the 26th of July, but you're right, it's usually the end of August.
Oh, it's not really a march per se. It's more a performance,
isn't it? No, it's just a day of disability art.
Yeah.
Out there in the big wide world of society.
Why don't you guys start one up? Let's start one up. Abnormally Funny People.
We got the...
You could have a float.
Yeah.
A float and just like Notting Hill, just going down the street in a parade.
Always wanted a float.
Just
the float thing idea. Everybody wants to be on the float.
Yes.
I want to do the Ferris Bueller, twist and shout. That would be great. Yes. Anything else ADA wise, or is it? I say that I know I'm meant to be coming over to New York. There's a big event in New York with Matt Fraser, who's organising a sort of cabaret night.
Yes, I think Matt's being pretty active in New York at the minute. I wish I was out there to go and see some of his stuff because he's keeping very busy and it looks very cool.
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be great.
I think you should get on a plane and just go from New York to LA and come out here.
I do want to come and see you, and I'd love to come to LA. We'll work it out. Anything else from you, Shannon?
No, the only thing I would add, just when I was just thinking about the funny thing that happened when I did actually fall is that out here, so I'm just being reminded because there are sirens going past my apartment. A fire truck automatically comes when you call an ambulance. So in my apartment there was about 3 or 4 paramedics and about 4 firemen, and that's pretty embarrassing, I've got to say, when you're trying to explain to them that you're already paraplegic but you've got a broken leg and they're looking very bemused.
So what's the idea of a fire? Why does the fire truck come out as well then?
Because in case they need to break down a door to get in, so they automatically send one.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if that's the best use of resources.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't want to
I've
leave that to
noticed
them at
that.
the time.
No.
But yeah, you do get a great big fire engine and an ambulance and your neighbours looking out the window. It's pretty awesome.
And normally 4 firemen in your apartment would be fun, but not when you've got a broken
I mean, that
leg.
would be a party. That's an average.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night, that is.
Exactly. That's a quiet night in.
When's the splint come, or when are you going to be recovered, do you know?
I had another X-ray last week. I've got about another 4 weeks before I'm allowed to put my leg down in its normal wheelchair position. I've got to start some physio week. But obviously this is America, so I'm going back and forth with regarding expenditure. Don't lose the NHS. It's really worth it. It might not be perfect, but it's better than the alternative out here.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, we wish you well, Shannon, and speedy recovery.
Thank
and
you.
Lovely to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you guys as always, and I will speak to you next month.
Lovely. Bye. Bye.
Heal soon.
Bye-bye.
Have a question or a comment? You can also text us or leave a voicemail on 07756 190 561.
We're coming up to the end of the show. A big thank you to Joe Coffey and Caro Sparks, and we're going to put up the links to your shows so people can find out about what you're up to in Edinburgh. But before you go,
So besides Edinburgh, young lady, what else are you up to, Joe?
So I'm going to finish Edinburgh and go home and take a long, hard look at my life and figure out where it all went wrong. No, I might possibly be going back to the jungle.
just for our American listeners.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So there's a programme called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here that's in a jungle. Don't know if they have it in America, actually. It's just started in Germany. I know that.
Okay.
And we put loads of celebrities in the jungle and we leave them there and we film them. And so I did it last year. I've done it 2 years running, one from the UK, one over in Australia last year.
How long did you stay in Australia for?
For about 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, if not a
Wow.
little bit longer. But I was doing the live show because I usually do live TV. So I was the one with Rob Beckett. So I was Get Me Out of Here Now.
I know Rob.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up as well, isn't he?
He's great.
Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant. So so I was doing that. It was all jolly good fun. So hopefully,
I find the
We'll
show
get to do
because
that again.
every time it starts, I look and kind of go, I don't know any of these celebrities, and I've seen this 100 times, and within about a week, I cannot stop watching.
Oh,
it.
yeah,
and then I
absolutely.
have to say, and I record both, so the live show and then also the follow-up show.
oh, good.
I know, but then it's a bit like Wimbledon when it suddenly stops. You're like, there's nothing
What
to watch.
now?
I've lost something.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, imagine how we feel. We're watching
Yes,
it
of course.
24 hours, particularly in things like Big Brother and stuff, because it never goes. It doesn't stop.
Yes,
So
you're
you're
right.
just watching, and if you wanted to, you could work for for 24 hours a day, non-stop for 3.5 months.
Well, good luck with that, and I hope
Thank you.
also. I remember the first time I did Edinburgh. Have you done Edinburgh solo show before?
No, I haven't. I'm really nervous.
I was petrified. I'd not even done stand-up. My point of it was, and you saying afterwards. I remember coming back, and then for about a week afterwards, my girlfriend at the time and other friends said, "I've never seen you so relaxed." There was it was like a sense of
A
achievement.
weight had been lifted.
Or you had you'd done something on the bucket list and had survived it and it went well. And I just remember feeling so calm for quite a while. It was a big relief.
Well, Simon was only doing 6 minutes a night.
Or maybe it was exhaustion.
Yes, could be.
Yes.
Caro, what do you, besides Edinburgh, what else are you up to? Where can people see you?
I'm about to go into R&D, research and development, with a theatre company called Red Earth, who are doing a production of Oliver Twist, and I've been told to look at the character of Fagin. So that'd be quite interesting.
That's
for
a big part.
A deaf fat woman playing that. It'd be great.
That'd be
great fun.
amazing.
And that will be touring next spring. But also at the moment I'm looking for panto work because I love doing panto. So I'm looking for a job.
I
on
suspect
stage.
me and Joe can probably get into panto.
Yeah.
A bit easier than you. We're not going to. But
T Kardashian for Panto.
So
That's,
yes, that's
panto
my
is good
plan.
fun.
Yes, oh, it's
Yeah.
great fun. Yes, I've done panto at Theatre Royal Stratford East, doing Dick Whittington a couple of years ago, and it was an amazing experience, and the company were lovely.
Yeah.
So I want to do it again.
It's great
So,
fun. I did it years ago. I did a touring panto. I just loved it. We just got on so well.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's great fun.
That's fantastic. Thank you both. It's been great having you on the show.
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
having me.
If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please leave us a review or a rating on Audioboom and iTunes.
So thank you all who stay in touch. We love hearing from you, whether it's via Twitter, email or phone.
And you can find out how to contact us via our website, which is abnormallyfunnypeople.com.
And you'll find the transcript of the show as well as photos and other bits and bobs.
And we're going to put up links for Joe and Caro's work and shows and stuff so you can see what they're up to. And hopefully, if you're in Edinburgh, have you mentioned Edinburgh?
Not yet.
They can come and see it. Do come and see us also at the Edinburgh Festival. There'll be a link.
At the Fringe, Festival Fringe,
I forgot the
pause.
pause,
Doesn't
didn't I?
matter. They get that now.
So during August, we're not going to do one show. We're planning to do lots of shorter little podcasts. So we're going to try and talk to some of the acts and go out and about. So you're going to get shorter but more frequent podcasts from us.
With lots of bits and bobs in Edinburgh. Anything we find interesting up there.
Exactly.
That'd be great. Yeah. Yep.
So smaller but frequent.
Nice, Simon. Nice. Well said.
Okay, that's it for now. Thank you to Harry, our editor.
And thank you all for listening.